It's your boy Gage. Sin is with me in the building.
What's
And welcome
happening?
to this little quick loading snacks news blip. We might be looking at doing a few more things like this in the future where we just kind of jump in and talk about some of the things that happen in the day. Today, what we want to talk about is
Today was one of those days.
this whole Outriders day one release to Game Pass. Now the rumors have been circling for a couple of days. And yesterday when I talked to you and Jokes, I specifically asked you, "Hey, did you pre-order Outriders yet?"
You did.
And you said nope.
I said, nah.
And I said, don't.
You did.
Don't.
Now, technically, I usually don't pre-order now until like the very last minute. I'll wait till the last minute if I pre-order something. But no, you put it out there. It was like, nah, I'm hearing some rumblings. Hold off on that for a minute. I'm like, cool.
Right.
We got time for it to come out. No, yeah.
It's coming to Game Pass day one.
Day one.
And so I just kind of want to touch a little bit on what some of the implications of this are, why I think it's important. I mean, like the Medium came to Game Pass day one. It's available. It's, but for something to be a major third-party publisher like Square Enix, an outside developer like People Can Fly, a multiplayer online grindy shooter a la a Destiny,
right? And that's in that same world vein, yeah.
Cross-platform.
Yep, on PlayStation, PC, like it'll be all the big ones when it drops.
This is different. And I don't really think it can be understated. Like, this to me says Microsoft, Xbox has every intention of spending their money and or playing really hard, and or they are simply walking into doors and going, look at the numbers. Here's what Game Pass is doing. You want to be a part of this. Like, like
the numbers, like they've said, like we're showing people the numbers and they're, all on board with it, all that type of stuff. But like whatever they showed Square had to be amazing for them to take this title that's getting a lot of push. You know what I'm saying? I think it's coming back with positive feedback from the demo. Besides, of course, your day one issues and glitches you're going to have, of course. But positive stuff, like to be like, throw it in Game Pass. We're good with that. Like,
it's a little crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's a little crazy.
Big thing.
I think when you look at the overall landscape, like we've seen the kind of success that games can have when they launch for free up front. And I don't necessarily mean like it's a quote unquote free to play game.
Right.
I mean, if you look at a game like Rocket League and the numbers that it put up when it released in PlayStation Plus, that absolutely attributed to the success of what that title is. Right. But that is a indie title. It's a small indie title. Right. It was when it released. I mean, it's owned by Epic now. That's a whole different ball game.
Right.
But it was. If you look at Fall Guys, something more recent. Last year, Fall Guys released and it was on PlayStation Plus and it blew up.
Yep.
But again, it's a indie release by a relatively small team. This is not a major developer like Square Enix. Publishing a game that is this large.
Right.
And so there is a difference. This is the kind of thing that has a different kind of potential.
And I have to salute them for jumping on board and getting behind this, because it's something we've been saying for a long time. Like, Game Pass is the way. And we know what we're talking about because bigger games just keep ending up in there like constantly. And it's something that the people behind are showing these numbers, and it's they're seeing it pay off in a very big way for them to throw these games in here. So salute to Square for seeing this vision and being like, yeah, go ahead and put Outriders in there. We're good with that.
Facts.
Yeah.
What's up to everybody in the chat? We're not ignoring you. You just don't have it up. We're just doing a little quick little news.
Yeah.
But you're right, Marcus. Money talks. Marcus in the chat saying money talks. What's up, Damon?
Yes.
Mari, what's up? Henry, what's up? Cuddy, yeah, it's a little special on Monday. Here's the thing. When you take a game that again is major and you move it to something like this, I think the difference between something being free for 30 days in PlayStation Plus, right? Or if it had been, let's say, Xbox Live Gold, right? I think the difference is that while there are people who subscribe to PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live on a monthly basis, most people just pay the $50 or $60 for the year and they're done.
Yeah.
Right? It's essentially a $9, I mean, a $5 a month service, if that, and they do it and they forget about it. And that's not really why they're there. There's a bonus to it. But Game Pass is a subscription service that people are paying monthly to be a part of. And Microsoft is doing everything they can to show people why it's worth it to be involved here. And so when we talk about what happened last week with Bethesda and the games they've begun to put there, and when you talk about if a title is, even though it's owned now by Microsoft on PlayStation's platform as well as on Xbox or Microsoft's platforms, the difference between paying $60 or $70 for a game and not is a big difference.
That's right? A big difference, yes.
So right now, if you're on the edge, and we talked about this before, that one of the big things that was going to make a difference as we move forward into this generation and why console sales themselves won't be as big a deal, those exclusive things won't necessarily move consoles the way they were, was crossplay. So now if you're on the edge of your seat trying to decide, there was a time when you might have been trying to figure out, man, do I grab Outriders for PlayStation or do I grab it for PC or do I grab it for Xbox? Right?
And usually what would sway you back then would be, all right, where most of my friends at? Yeah, that I'm going to be playing with.
Right.
Yeah.
With a cross-play title, that doesn't matter anymore, right?
Nope.
Everybody just grab it, which is super important to trying to build and maintain an audience for a game as a service, which is what this is, right? Something that is intended to just continue to go, and they're going to add content and you play through the game, and you want to have a steady audience. So it being crossplay is super, super important to the overall standing and health of the game down the line. But it being in Game Pass in and of itself, if you look at what Game Pass has done for games that were already old, if you take Elder Scrolls Online as an example, the way that the numbers in that title shot up the moment it hit Game Pass, and what that means for having a monetization model that already exists when you didn't technically pay for the game, right? This is different. If this even looks like it's working, others are going to jump on this.
100%. 100%. Yeah. I think right now a lot of industry people are keeping with this announcement. They're going to keep out what Outriders is doing.
Right.
100% to follow suit. I would say.
Let's be real. If this works, much higher chance Division 3 shows up on Game Pass day one. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if you're a major publisher, even if you're doing something of your own, like Ubisoft is, right? They have their own place now where, like, on PC, you can have a membership to Ubisoft where you just get their games. All their brand new games, you just have them, right? It's a lot like Game Pass. It's just only on PC right now. Right. And there are rumors that is going to, in some way, be bridged into Game Pass the same way EA,
just like EA Play was.
Right? Yeah, KB, Outriders is coming to Game Pass day one. Don't buy it on the PlayStation. That's exactly what it is. You said straight up, I was gonna buy it on the PS. Yeah,
hey, look,
don't.
I texted my friend this morning. I just sent her the Engadget article. I was like, well, that's $60 I ain't gotta pay for now.
Exactly.
Like, and you just go ahead and pay that $60. I don't have to. No,
but let me throw another wrench in it for you, because
go ahead.
We've had conversations. You have played online with me and Edia, my youngest daughter. We played together. She's on the demo and enjoying it. And I knew I was about to have to drop 120.
Sure
I was
was,
gonna have to
yeah.
buy it twice. Guess who's not?
You, sir.
You think the way you sent that email to her, I ain't run up and interrupt her class today in school? Hey, Outriders coming to Game Pass. Finish class. With who? Dog. What?
Hey,
Like
my bad, teacher. Hey, Edith, Outriders coming to Game Pass.
Yeah,
right,
like I don't.
Y'all go
Yeah,
have your lessons.
I mean, that's a real thing, right? Hey, look, Purpose said I need a Kingdom Hearts 4 day one. Listen, if for real, anybody who's thinking about doing something that's a game as a service, right? Because here's the other thing that's crazy about it, right? Like we were playing Elder Scrolls Online last night on Game Pass, which we already owned, but
yeah,
it's there, so we started playing it again. We're talking about playing it for
mine's on
Twitch
Paul
on Friday,
mm-hmm.
right? But when a game is in Game Pass, the DLC and so forth is also at a discounted price. So keep in mind that not only are we talking about the value of a game that is $60 or $70, you no longer have to pay that, but you could take that $60 or $70 and apply it to whatever it is they're going to put, cosmetics, whatever additional DLC, whatever stuff it is that they're going to have that will be there for that game for people to buy day 1, day 12, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Being a part of Game Pass and being discounted 10%, 20%, whatever it ends up being, is even better, right?
Yeah,
for you.
That's a great point with ESO, because ESO is chucked full of content over throughout these years, from mounts to armor sets to DLC, like, and it's all discounted for you, which is great.
Yeah, it's crazy. So real talk, the idea of something like this, I think, has implications that are much bigger than just the really simple announcement that was made today on the news wire for Xbox, right? Because that post was pretty cut and dry. Hey, Outriders coming to Game Pass, y'all. And then everything else was literally just like the regular blurbs that Outrider has. This is what it is. It's a, first person action shooter looter game that you can play online or by yourself, MMO style. Like, that's all it really says. It doesn't really say anything else about it, right? And we haven't really heard any information yet about what the rest of the plans for this game are. What's the end game look like? What is the monetization going to look like? What kind of cosmetics will there be? Or
that's one of the things I'm really
real world money on.
That's what I'm really interested to know, like the monetization aspect with it coming to Game Pass. Like, okay, so y'all must have a whole store ready with cosmetics and its own little currency or whatever, like ready to go off the break. So
I'm sure
I'm interested. Yeah,
and I'm sure that that's a thing we're going to hear about on Thursday when Square Enix does their little presentation, this new Square Enix Presents thing, because they said they're going to talk about Outriders, right? And so to me, this is one of those things where Microsoft is like, we just want to get out in front of this and let people know that when they get excited on Thursday about everything else that they're talking about and what it is they're going to be doing,
then go pick up a membership to Game Pass. That's simple.
You know what I mean? Like, it is, the implications for this are much bigger, I think, than I think E3 is going to be bananas this year. Whatever it ends up being, maybe it won't be E3 because who knows what's actually going to happen with E3, right? But whatever it is that happens during that week to 2 weeks where they're just like spouting things, like GDC is happening like this weekend. I think it's either this weekend or next weekend.
Oh man, okay.
And it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of stuff comes out of that too. But in terms of games and announcements, there are rumors right now that Microsoft is already in major talks with major publishers to get games in Game Pass. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if Ubisoft, in the same way that they were talking about, like, there's a Ubisoft channel for Amazon Luna, that having in some way, shape, or form, that being tied into Game Pass, probably not for the same price, I would imagine. But the ability to do that to me is I mean, I think it's a big deal. What's up, Kern? K Dizzle. Shut the whole front door. Shut all the front doors, K. Because and I'm gonna tell you something else. Outriders was probably already gonna take over Twitch on April 1st.
Yeah.
But now
people,
it's like you don't have an excuse not to be playing.
Exactly.
Right? And I think the other thing about it is, while even the demo is reviewing well right now, the idea of people being like, I mean, It's on Game Pass. What's the complaint about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if you're not happy with everything that happens right away, or if there's let's say there's some kind of a bug day one that people are hitting or whatever.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like if Cyberpunk had dropped the Game Pass,
that the tweets would have been, well, glad I got a Game Pass and I didn't pay for it. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? What this says to me, not just about what Microsoft is trying to do.
I said, what the hell is Monday at 7:30?
Hey, listen. Tyree was bored because we ain't had no spoiler boards to do this week. So we just you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, look, to me, this means either PlayStation better have an answer by E3. Better have an answer for what Game Pass is by E3.
Yeah, because I got a feeling we're gonna get more announcements like this at E3.
Because the more Microsoft is able to continue to do this, the more market share, and more importantly, the more mind share they begin to take away. Mm-hmm. I saw an article earlier today that was just like, man, I wish PlayStation took backwards compatibility as seriously as Microsoft did, right? And really what I believe that is more of respect for your time, your money, and your dollars.
Yeah.
Right? I spent this money on this game in your ecosystem and now you're telling me like I can't play it anymore.
Right.
But if I had bought it on an Xbox, I'd be able to, right? If I had a PlayStation 3 and a PlayStation 4, instead of having a 360 and an Xbox One, and I bought the same game on those systems, those games are available because I bought them then for me to continue to play now if I want to play. If I just want to jump in and pay what I spent my money on, right? And when you think about how people act about this is a digital landscape and I want to own discs because this is the only way you really own anything. But now that's even backwards, right? Because what are we seeing? We're seeing people who are allowed to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version of Final Fantasy VII Remake. If you have the disc, you put the disc in and you get that version. But if you bought the digital version of the PlayStation 5, guess what you can't do?
Can't do that.
Right? So now owning a disc is actually locking you out of content that you technically should be able to get for free.
That is insane.
They are finding ways to push you out of physical media into digital media because digital media makes the most sense. And when it is tied specifically to your gamer tag, your credit card, your whatever, it can follow you. And that's the whole point of what this is. So what it will mean when Phil Spencer says on any platform that Game Pass is on, Game Pass is on TVs and Outriders is a part of that. And we don't know how long Outriders will be there, right? It might not be there the whole time. Stuff does move in and out.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Maybe a month or so, something like that. And
it'll be longer than that.
Yeah, but
it'll be longer than that. And if it isn't longer than that and it's doing well, Microsoft will make sure they'll do the work behind the scenes to make sure it stays.
And even if it does leave, you still get it at a discount. You're still getting it cheaper when you decide to leave. So either way, it's a win. Yeah, either way, it's a win.
Hey, Kermit said he's still playing Fusion Frenzy from the original Xbox, and I'm not mad because now you can turn on that HDR.
Yep.
FPS boost thing is in there.
I actually downloaded that a little while ago.
Yep. There's so going digital is just it makes so much more sense. Now than it did before. So obviously you still gotta be tied to that ecosystem, but we just want to kind of jump in and talk about this news because I think it's a bigger deal than I think some people are really realizing. We'll certainly talk about it a little bit more on Thursday when we do cutscenes. Because at that point we'll have had Square Enix's conference as well, little press conference, so we'll be able to kind of to touch on that. So we'll certainly talk about it more then. We will see you all tomorrow evening for our regular weekly episode. We have a special guest lined up for that. But again, just wanted to touch base. Hey man, KB, don't forget about Fusion Frenzy. That thing is fire.
Man, that thing smoke. I bet if we went back and played it, oh my gosh, it would be trash.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't?
It wouldn't be trash. Not at all. Like my man said, he's still playing it. It can't be. He's still playing it. It's not trash. Yeah. So listen, thank y'all for tuning in real quick. Again, we just want to drop that little bit of news and talk about that and what the implications are and so forth. We'll also be talking about this rumored. I don't know if you saw this, Sin, but the rumors are there will be a 20th anniversary release of Grand Theft Auto 3 coming this year in like October. We're gonna talk about that on Thursday too.
I didn't see that, but give it to me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Give it to me.
All right, y'all. There's a lot happening this week. We will see y'all for sure. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate it. With that, we're out. Little Low Snacks News Blip. Toodles and Lose. Watch The High Rise on Netflix. Marcus says so.
I already am watching it.
Ah, you late, Marcus. See y'all.